This video is not going to be like your typical mock draft. This video, I'm going to discuss a few prospects, quite a few, and where they would best fit. Now, I think this is a really fun video because there are some prospects in the top 14 and the top 20 that don't really interest me. This way, I get to talk about some of the most polarizing prospects in the draft, and don't get it confused. That doesn't mean I don't like a lot of the other prospects, but these prospects are some of the most buzzworthy prospects right now. And in discussing these prospects so close to the draft, it's going to be fun to come back to this video once they are drafted and see how things really turned out. This video, we're not using any reports. We're using strict opinion. And I think there's some value in that because I think there's almost no value in reports surrounding the NBA draft. If you're a high-level franchise, why in the world would you leak what player you want in the NBA draft? Why would you even be discussing it with people outside of your organization? It just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So typically around draft time, you see a lot of lies, you see a lot of fluff. And I know what you're thinking, Coop, what about the Timberwolves? They're picking number 1. Why would they possibly want to cap about who they're picking? Well, the answer is simple. Say another team really wants a player that's rumored or projected to be going to the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves could use this to their advantage. Act like they really want that player too. And all of a sudden, a team that is interested in that player that may have not felt pressed to move up before, all of a sudden feels pressed to move up to try to draft him now. The Timberwolves inherently raised the value of the pick that maybe they wanted to trade all along. You see, the NBA draft is fun, and there are a lot of mind games that go around when it comes to the NBA draft. You just have to hope your team is one of the smart ones. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video, and that's facts. I'm going to be streaming NBA 2K21 Next Gen tonight, so be sure to follow my stream. The link will be in the description below. The first player I want to discuss is a very polarizing prospect, one of the most talented college players I've seen play the game of basketball. Maybe a little bit of an overstatement, but you guys know me, I'm a hype beast. It is what it is. I think a lot of people are actually talking themselves out of this player, and I think he's great, man. That player is Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is an absolute beast. He's really athletic. He dunks everything. He's had some of the best college dunks I feel like I've ever seen. I don't think that's an overstatement. He's explosive, and he has a game that reminds you a lot of an Amari Stoudemire, Kenyon Martin, Sean Marion type of player. He's a hybrid. This guy literally does it all. Now, when I see Obi play, yes, sometimes his moves do look a little mechanical, and you can argue he's a bit of a tweener. Being a tweener isn't bad in today's NBA. No, not at all anymore. Not having a true position can be a major positive in today's NBA. We see it time and time again. I want Obi to go to a team where he's going to be the focal point of that team. Obi can flat out score the basketball. When it comes to the crossover, he's not Darren Williams, but the guy has talent. He's 6'9", 220. He scored 20 points a game in college. He averaged 8 boards per game. He shot 66% his freshman year from the field. You go to his sophomore year, it drops to 63.3, which is still absurdly elite. This guy's shooting 39% from the three-point line. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. He's an athletic beast. The downside is when it comes to next season, he will be turning 23 years old. So that is a little unfortunate. But for a team that wants a polished prospect, I think he makes a lot of sense. I would love to see him on the Golden State Warriors or the New York Knicks. I really want him to go to a team that will let him develop at his own pace. And I think the Knicks are a great team. They're a team that may not have the best development, the best player development. So it does make sense for the Knicks to get a polished prospect. If you want Showtime back in New York, LaMelo would be great. We'll talk about LaMelo next. But I think Obi also makes a lot of sense. This guy, if you watch him play, he's a highlight factory. I could see Obi showing out in New York, no problem. He would have the Garden jumping. Now, Obi right now, not the best defender, shows potential, but not the best defender. I think it would take a lot for Obi to become a bust at the next level because he shoots the ball so well, he's so athletic. Those traits normally don't leave you. Next, we got to talk LaMelo Ball. This is just so much fun because at the next level, LaMelo can literally be anything. I've never seen a prospect navigate the floor as well as LaMelo Ball. At every level he's played basketball, he's never had a problem beating a player off of the dribble. His ball handling ability and ability to get into the lane reminds you of somebody like James Harden. Now, a lot of people are going to sit here and tell you LaMelo is a bad defender in the NBL. He applied himself a lot more on the defensive side of the basketball, and we saw somebody that was able to get a ton of steals when he's locked in. He's a high-level gambler that loves a good payoff. It's hard to be mad at him when you have the athleticism and the length that LaMelo Ball has. A lot of people, they're going to tell you the athleticism is washy, but I do like LaMelo as an athlete and a fluid athlete at 6'8", 6'7", however tall he is. He's a very big guard. A lot of people, I think, they get athleticism confused. I also like to factor in fluidity when it comes to judging athletes. LaMelo, one of the most fluid prospects in this draft. He's got a great first step. He's got great short area quickness. He's got a lot of traits that are very valuable in a guard. And in today's game, where you like players that are bigger and able to play multiple positions, LaMelo is a very, very ideal fit. Where LaMelo does worry you is he's been pretty inconsistent with his jump shot. Sometimes the shot selection can be questionable, but watching every NBL game LaMelo played, I can assure you that he has made gigantic strides in taking the right shots, becoming a more accountable player, and just making the right decision overall. I saw somebody that had a basketball IQ beyond their years. The NBL is a very tough league. Prospects before LaMelo didn't perform nearly as well as LaMelo and would still get drafted in the first round coming from the NBL. So I think LaMelo being able to do what he did in the NBL, a very physical league, shows the true talent that he has. Without a doubt, I think the NBL is a higher level than college basketball. I don't think that's up for discussion. And if you truly do think LaMelo is this chucking point guard and you haven't watched him since high school, when he comes to the NBA, you're going to be in for a shock. In the NBL, his best trait was passing. His floor vision rivals that of Lonzo Ball. You can even argue it was better. I saw some great plays from LaMelo that I couldn't even see coming. So I do enjoy LaMelo as a prospect. Fit-wise, I think I like LaMelo in New York. I think I also wouldn't mind him running with the Golden State Warriors, but I have to say it is fun to imagine LaMelo and Stephen Curry playing basketball together. I don't hate Melo on the Timberwolves. I definitely see the potential, but I think the Timberwolves are a team looking to go win now, which I think might be a mistake, but you know, time will ultimately tell. Melo in Charlotte is also pretty fun because he complements Devontae Graham in the aspect of Devontae Graham is a scorer. Charlotte really needs a playmaker. Charlotte actually has quite a few scorers. They need somebody with the playmaking IQ of LaMelo Ball. And LaMelo Ball, if you play him with Graham, you could have LaMelo guarding some of the bigger players. And of course, LaMelo would have to bulk up. But, I mean, the potential is there. Next, we have James Wiseman, who, if you ask me, is similar to LaMelo Ball in the aspect of if you pass on this guy, you can immediately end up regretting it because Wiseman has so much talent. He can beat anybody at the NBA level. I've seen some scouts compare Wiseman to David Robinson, to Chris Bosh, to Anthony Davis, some of the best big men to play the game of basketball and end the game of basketball. That's just the type of talent he is. If you think you have a team that is good with player development, a franchise that's good at developing players, I think you have to take Wiseman, because even if you think he is not a developed prospect, even if you think he doesn't have any talent, he is an absurd athlete. He's got the wingspan. He's a quick jumper. He's got all of the tools to be successful. He's got an improving jump shot with a form that looks really good. There's so much to like about Wiseman. He is a fluid athlete, like I said LaMelo Ball was, but for Wiseman, it's more so in the fact that he is not mechanical and that he is somebody that's very agile for his size. He has potential to be able to guard the screen and roll at the next level, the potential to maybe even guard multiple positions. Maybe I'm stretching it a little bit there. My point to you guys is Wiseman can literally be anything. If he goes to Golden State, he's going to have an immediate impact on the defensive side of the basketball. He's going to be able to focus on things that he excels at. So not only is Wiseman going to have this immediate short-term impact, He's also going to be a long-term prospect for the Warriors that provides massive upside at a position of need, assuming you don't want to play Draymond at center. And who knows, maybe he develops faster than we know. Of course, with Wiseman, though, he's such a talented prospect, it's really hard to envision him not fitting on a team. I would also like Wiseman with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Move Cat down to power forward. Don't leave that rim protection role up to Karl Anthony Towns. Let him get some defensive help with a prospect that has massive upside, another lob target for D'Angelo Russell, and then you have Cat stretching the floor. To me, it just sounds good. Next, we have Denny, whose comparisons are all over the place. I've seen people say Luka. I've seen people compare him to Nicholas Batum. I've seen people compare him to Gordon Hayward. NBADraft.net compares him to Hedo Turkoglu. He's a phenomenal talent. He's big in the essence of he has great size. He's versatile. He can play multiple positions. He's got good court vision. And I think he's somebody that can play off ball at a high level. But man, a guy with this type of talent, you really want the ball in their hands. I hope he goes to a place that lets him come into a point forward type of role. He's shown massive potential creating his own shot, seems to be a selfless player. He's got a high IQ. I really like Denny. I think Golden State is interesting for him because he's somebody that can come along, provide that short-term value that I talked about, and have long-term upside. Denny is ready to go day one, in my opinion. I could see the New York Knicks drafting Denny. I think he would be a good fit. The Knicks do need that sort of dominant ball handler with some great court vision. So if the Knicks don't like any of the top guards, say LaMelo is gone, then Denny makes a lot of sense. Somebody that can be a star and bring some energy back to the city, and a game that fits alongside RJ Barrett. NBADraft.net likes Denny going to Atlanta. Now, I would prefer Denny to go to a team like the Chicago Bulls, but I do think Denny and Trae Young would be a lot of fun. There's no other way around it. The Chicago Bulls have a lot of scoring. They're a team that needs a passer. Zach LaVine, great scorer. Kobe White, great scorer. McKinnon, great scorer. You know, they got guys that can put the ball in the basket. McKinnon, good scorer. But they need somebody that can handle the ball and take on that facilitating role. Now, Kobe White does have the potential to do that. Zach LaVine has shown flashes of playmaking in his past. But I like Denny going to the Chicago Bulls. They have an Otto Porter situation there. Otto has been good. But, you know, I always say best player available, best talent available. If Denny's there, I think you have to take him. Another team that's very similar in the aspect of needing a playmaker is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think Kevin Love actually led the Cavs in assists per game last season, something that can't happen. This is really random. I think Onyeka is going to be a beast. I see a lot of people comparing him to Bam Adebayo. Love the comparison. I see the similarities. Another guy that I think is really slept on is Jalen Smith, who has the potential to be a much better Miles Turner. This guy can flat out shoot the ball when he's going. He's got the post moves. It's going to be a good draft. A lot of people are saying it's weak. I'm not necessarily seeing that. If you're looking for wings with upside, there's Vassell, and then Kira Lewis has been gaining some steam. In this NBA draft, I truly feel like there is something for everybody. And look, I didn't talk much about Edwards this video, but my advice to NBA teams is don't overthink it. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support the channel. I'm Get Like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until the next video.